Welcome to The Explainer. You know that feeling when you hit the driving range and it just feels completely overwhelming? Well, today we're going to transform that frustrating trip into a highly structured, purposeful 60-minute routine. If you're a beginner wanting to see those scores actually drop instead of just, developing blisters, you are in exactly the right place.
So, here's our 60-minute blueprint. We've got a quick warm-up, building the fundamentals, focusing on the short game, and finally the full swing simulation. Let's jump right in.
Really ask yourself, what is the absolute best way to spend exactly 60 minutes at the range? Because most beginners, they just grab a bucket, walk to a mat, and mindlessly beat 100 balls as fast as humanly possible with their driver. We've all seen it. But today, we're going to fix that with a step-by-step, chronological session that pro coaches actually swear by for new players.
Now, check out how this time is allocated. See that massive 40-minute block? It is dedicated entirely to the short game. And there's a good reason for that. Honestly, your wedges and your putter matter way more than your driver when you're a beginner trying to shave off strokes quickly. We're basically budgeting your time exactly where it gives the highest return on investment.
First up on the agenda is the warm-up, preparing the body.
Let's look at the science here for a second. Research from orthopedic surgeon Dr. Stephen Chudik actually shows that static stretching, the old hold and count to 10 routine, can actually rob you of power. Instead, doing dynamic stretches, like an overhead shoulder stretch with your club, actively increases your club head and ball speed. Just grab your club with both hands, stand nice and tall, and slowly raise it overhead 5 to 10 times to wake up those shoulder joints.
Beyond that, you'll want to add in 10 to 15 arm circles and shoulder rolls. Then, plant your feet about shoulder width apart and do some torso twists. Just keep your hips steady and rotate your upper body left and right. This perfectly mimics the rotation of a real golf swing, wakes up your core, and gets you totally dialed in for the session. Okay, let's get moving.
Moving right along to Section 2, Fundamentals, Building the Foundation.
Okay, to master the mechanics, there's a simple acronym you need to memorize. GASP. That's grip, aim, stance, and posture. These 4 little things dictate almost everything about where your golf ball is going to end up. If your gas is off, well, your swing is basically doomed before you even take the club back. Let's break down the 2 most critical ones, grip and posture.
Think about the flag hand-high grip. The hand furthest from the target goes at the bottom of the grip, while the hand closest to the target, the one pointing right at the flag, sits highest. You want the club running diagonally across your fingers, not resting deep in the palm of your hand. That is what's going to give you the control and wrist mobility you really need.
So how exactly should your hands connect? You've got 3 main choices here. There's the overlapping Varden grip, which most of the pros use. There's the interlocking grip, which, fun fact, is the one Tiger Woods uses, so hey, you're in pretty good company there. Or you could go with the 10-finger baseball grip, where all fingers touch the club, with no overlap. If you're an absolute beginner, that baseball grip is incredibly intuitive and highly recommended.
Now, the absolutely crucial point here. Do not strangle the club. I'm serious, the club isn't trying to run away from you. If your forearms are tense, you're gripping way too tight. You want your grip pressure at about a 4 or 5 out of 10. Firm enough to control it for sure, but loose enough so your wrists can properly hinge and actually generate speed through the ball.
Next up, we have to nail that posture. Stand nice and tall, making sure your ankle joints are right under your shoulders. Then, tilt forward from your hips, kind of like you're peering over the edge of a balcony, so your belt buckle is pointing powerfully down right at the ball. Soften those knees just enough to let the club head rest on the ground. You should feel super balanced and really athletic here.
Okay, let's dive into the third part of our agenda, the short game, saving strokes.
This is where we spend a solid 20 minutes hitting 10 to 30-yard shots right off the green. Try out different clubs, like your pitching wedge or 9-iron, just to feel how the ball rolls out. And to keep it from getting boring, try the bunker clock drill. Imagine the pin is dead center on a clock face at 12 o'clock, and practice hitting out of the sand to different times around the hole. It's a really fun way to stay totally focused. For the next 20 minutes, head over to the putting green. PGA professional Ellie Brown actually has 3 amazing tips for reading greens like a total pro. First, always check your putt from multiple angles. Second, step out your line to physically feel the weight shift in your feet. Your eyes might play tricks on you, but your feet won't. And third, this is a real aha moment. Visualize the hole filled to the brim with water. Wherever that imaginary water would spill out, that's the low side. It shows you exactly how the putt is going to break.
Finally, we reach our last section, the full swing, simulating the course.
This is where we contrast mindless ball beating with practicing with real intent. Remember that mistake we talked about earlier, raking a ball over every 8 seconds and just smashing it with a driver? Yeah, that's not going to help you on the actual course. Practicing with intent means stepping back, picking a very specific target, choosing your club, and hitting just one real, carefully considered shot every 60 to 90 seconds.
To force yourself to keep that pace, use the routine drill. It brings all those gas fundamentals right back together. Sequentially, take your grip first, then place the club behind the ball. Next, set that belt buckle to the ball posture we talked about. And finally, settle into your stance. Do this exact sequence for every single one of your final practice shots. It literally locks in that muscle memory.
Think back to your last messy range visit. Now, what if your next bucket of balls wasn't just a tiring workout, but the exact blueprint that finally helps you break 100? The 60-minute clock starts the next time you step out of your car. So, how are you going to spend it?